All right, so welcome to Module 152, Week 2 class meeting on reviewing Chapter 2, as it were, in our step-by-step for coding. This one, hey Aisha, I'll write you down. This chapter was an introduction to ICD-10 CM, which is that nice, big, thick, purple colored manual that y'all have. If y'all have not started looking through that and just kind of digging around and playing with it, now's a really good time to do that. Check out the different chapters and sections and just see what information is where and things like that. A little bit about the exam. It's going to be very similar to Chapter 1's exam. It's going to be on Monday. Some multiple choice, mostly multiple choice, some short answer. And then probably a bonus question, but the bonus question is not going to be as easy this week as it was last week. I wanted to give y'all a heads up. Oh, and if you know that you got a perfect score and you know you answered that bonus question and you still only got 100 points on your exam, that's because I have to. The school has told me that I'm doing too much as far as bonus stuff for y'all. Too much extra credit. Your grades are too good. So I have to cap the score at 100 points for tests. So that's why if you did the bonus and you didn't see anything over 100, that's why they're not allowing me to do that. So, but it'll be very similar to last week's test, the exam on Tuesday. Not very long, 20, 25 questions. You know, nothing that's gonna break y'all. Y'all got that. And if you do, if y'all haven't noticed, the test from the question comes straight from your chapter exercises and your workbook stuff. So, you know, that's why it's important to do that stuff. Even if I'm not really asking, and I know some of y'all have noticed too, that I will assign you things out of the workbook and I'll assign you chapter review stuff too. And I only ask you to submit one part of that. If you don't do both parts, you're cheating yourself. I'm asking you to submit one part because I've got almost 50 y'all, and that's a lot to grade. That's a lot to grade. So I ask for one part to cut down the time it takes me to grade. So it's up to y'all we're working on the honor system that y'all are doing the stuff that I'm not asking you to submit. And again, if you don't do it, you are cheating. You're only hurting yourself. Really. Okay. So
True.
I'm going to share my screen and we're going to jump into chapter 2. We didn't have any major announcements at this point. We're still going over the NTHS nominations. We had quite a few this go round, so it's taken us a little bit time to go through those. And also, my co-advisor, my boss, Miss April Austin, is the other advisor for NTHS. Well, Miss April got promoted this last week. And she is now not just, she was our director of education over the online campus. And now she's just the director of the online campus. She's over it all. And we're super happy about that because we love April Austin. Y'all have seen her pop into meetings and she's just a bubbly, great, easy person to talk to. So Unitech is just ecstatic that she stepped up into all the instructors are really happy that she stepped up into that position. But so that's why NTHS is kind of, we're taking a little bit longer. She's got some additional duties that she's taken up and stuff like that. So, okay, can y'all see the chapter 2 overview of ICD-10?
Yes. Yes.
All right, very good. Okay, so again, if you guys do not have your manuals, I need to know ASAP. I think everyone should have theirs. And I want to say that my newer students have all reached out to me and confirmed that they do have theirs as well. Guys, if you have a 2021 version, that is okay. That is perfectly fine. I don't think that there were a whole lot of changes in this year that were updated. I know next year there's going to be some changes. Monkeypox is going to be added in there. But if we need this book, you got to have this book. So if you don't have it, I need to know. Okay. So quick question. ICD-10 or ICD, what does ICD stand for? Anybody know that off top? If you know it,
I-
say it.
I know it, but I'm trying to think. International stuff.
diseases.
International Classification of Diseases. Okay. And this is where the ICD-10 CM is where you're going to get all of your diagnosis codes that you're coding. You remember, or I don't know if you remember, we're kind of starting. I forget that this is the beginning of the program because I've had some of y'all that have gone through half of the coding with me.
Yeah.
So refresher for some of y'all, but new information for some of y'all. This is where we're going to get our diagnosis codes. When we go into our CPT manual, that's where we're going to get our procedure codes. CPT is what is done to the patient or for the patient. And ICD-10 is what's wrong with the patient. Okay. Your diagnosis codes are going to come from ICD-10 procedure codes. And it's in the title, International Classification of Diseases, of stuff, right? Of stuff wrong with people. And CPT is current procedural terminology. So it's, if you remember what they are, that's how you can kind of keep them straight. But the ICD-10 is issued and maintained by the WHO, which is the World Health Organization. Okay. And those are the folks that basically look at everything on a global level, health-wise. They're the people who make the determination. Like just recently, we had monkeypox become a global health emergency. It's a situation. So the WHO is highly involved in that. And the WHO, along with the AMA, which is the American Medical Association, and CMS, Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, and things like that, they all work in tandem. They all work together to create, maintain, identify all these different diagnosis codes and CPT codes and all the ones that we use. And this stuff is important. One of your daily assignments this week was to list 3 or 4 ways that diagnosis codes are used. And you'll know one is definitely coding. We use it to code to get these bills paid, right? To accurately document patient records, we're using the correct diagnosis codes. The reason they were originally invented was so that the WHO and other health organizations could keep track of what kind of diseases, and like the flu or chickenpox or things like that. We need to know how many people have these diseases. We need to know if there are trends, if there's an uptrend, something that's going on socially that is like, just like with COVID or monkeypox. They invented a code so we can keep track of this stuff, so we know where this is headed. We can't just not pay attention to what's out there and then let some kind of COVID or something sneak up on us and kill half the world before anybody notices, right? We've got to pay attention to what's going on to the population. And there are government agencies set up to collect this information. Okay. When doctors have to, they call it, just like educators have compliance, doctors have compliance as well. They have to turn in records. And the ICD-10 codes or ICD, whichever one they're using, has to be part of that so that they can track diagnoses and diseases in the population and things like that. Okay. But the WHO is the main organization that maintains the ICD-10 name. All right. So the alphabetic index consists of 3 sections, and y'all notice another daily assignment question. I kind of wanted to highlight those this week. These were the big things that I wanted y'all to really pay attention
I'm
to
listening to them.
and stuff like that. Okay. The alphabetic index, which is where you're going to start when you go to search for a code. The first place you're going to go is that alphabetic index. You're going to read your chart or your scenario or whatever you're coding off of, and you're going to pick out some key terms and you're going to start in your alphabetic index. And in that alphabetic index, there's 3 different sections: the index of diseases and injuries, table of drugs and chemicals, and the external cause of injuries index. And I'll tell y'all something, if y'all want to giggle a little bit, get you a glass of wine one night and open the external cause of injuries index and just start reading. Just start reading, because they want you to be exposed so specific with codes now, y'all. They put everything in there. Got hit by a tractor. Injury due to water skiing. Cow fell on. I mean, just ran into lamppost. I mean, just crazy stuff, y'all. Crazy stuff. But I mean, anything can happen to people these days. You know, anything can happen. But you want to know where to start when you start to look for these terms and these codes, and you're going to start in that alphabetic index, and you're going to start in one of these sections. Whether you're looking for, if somebody overdosed, you're going to, of course, go to the table of drugs and chemicals. You know, if they had an injury, like they hit their head or they broke their arm or car accident or something like that, you know, diseases and injuries. But y'all, the external cause of injuries index is really funny. That's where all the oddball stuff is that I find.
Put your clothes in there because I gotta wash my clothes, my jeans and stuff too. I know.
All right, and just I've got on here the little excerpt from your textbook as to how the alphabetic index is set up,
Just put it on there.
and it is set up, of course, alphabetically. You have a main term and then a
I
subterm.
ain't putting mine.
And your main
I ain't putting
term-
mine so them tall.
Julie,
Your main term is generally going to be the body part that you're going to start with. And like in this example, they have abdomen. So maybe they're looking for, you know, let's say they're looking for angina. Well, hopefully they would know that the angina is going to be something that's wrong in the abdomen. So you're going to start with abdomen. And if you don't know abdomen, maybe you start with stomach. And that's okay, because it'll get you to the same place. Y'all will hear me say it throughout coding, that there are different ways to go about getting to the correct code. Whether you start with one body part or one illness, it may take you to another illness that's what and what with it, or something like that. But you can get to the right code several different ways usually. Okay. So don't stress if you look up a body part and you're like, oh crap, I don't see where that is. I don't see that in my list. Just keep reading. Keep reading. Okay. So your main term is generally going to be a body part or something like that. Or maybe a muscle group or an organ system or something like that is going to be your main term. And then under that is going to be your subterms. And that is the specific disease or injury or the thing wrong with that body part. And those are also going to be alphabetized, but indented one. Okay, so you have your main term, it's going to kind of be bolded and it's red right there. And then it's going to indent down one level, and you're going to have your subterms. Okay. And you will just go through, and sometimes y'all, there are pages and pages and pages of subterms under abdomen, like facial pages. Okay, there's so many different things that can go wrong with any of the body parts. So it may take you going through that list, just go down and go down and go down and keep going till you find what you need. And sometimes it's finding, if you can't find the exact term that you're looking for, find the closest thing to it, the closest thing that fits what you're looking for, basically. All right, I wanted to show y'all where when we are doing claims filing and processing and stuff like that, we do it on a HCFA 1500 form, right? Y'all saw the whole form in chapter 2. They have an example there. It's a red and white form. And basically, this is the form that we send out to insurance companies to get our claims paid. And they have to be filled out to completion and be accurate. Okay. And I wanted to show y'all where the different codes are going to go on this form. So your diagnosis placement is going to be box 21 here. And this is like half of the page. Okay, there's a whole top section where you put insurance and patient information. This is the bottom section of the 1500 form. Okay, and this is box 21. And you see it's listed like A through L. You can have a multitude of diagnosis codes. There are some patients that unfortunately just have a lot of stuff wrong with them. So you can put, a bunch of diagnosis codes, but you always want to start, guys, you want A to be your primary diagnosis code. And there are some codes that you cannot use in any way other than primary, and that'll be listed in the book. If that's the case, it'll be listed in your manual. And there's some that you have to include with certain codes. There's certain stuff you have to code together, and there's certain ones that you can't code together. And again, all of this information is found in the manual. That's what the manual's for, is to tell you what to put and how to put it. Okay. But your diagnosis codes are going to go up in this box here. All right. Your CPT codes are going to go here. Your HCPCS, CPT and HCPCS codes are going to go there. And we'll differentiate more between CPT and HCPCS a little bit later on. Okay. Today we want to kind of concentrate on ICD-10 and diagnosis. I don't want to get way off topic and get confusing. Okay. All right. So CPTs are going to go down here where you're going to be listing your procedures. Okay. And that's like your office visit, if they had a shot, if they, things like that, procedures. Those codes are going to be listed here. And you can list 6 on a claim form. Okay. Now, I've had situations where I have filed for a patient and I had more than 6 dates of service for said patient. That's okay. You just start on the next one. Okay. But here's a little tip. Here's a little billing tip for y'all. If you are filing claims for a patient and they're towards the end of the year, and you say you're filing 2 claims at the same time, and one is for December 20th and one is for January the 5th, don't put them on the same claim form. If they're within the same year, you can put them on the same claim form. If you span more than 1 year on a claim form, it will probably kick back to you. I'm not sure why that is, but that's just always the way it has worked. Every time I filed a claim and put more than 1 year worth of dates of service on it, that sucker comes back to me and I have to file them individually. So you can do more than 1 date of service on a claim form, but just watch for your years. Make sure that everything that you're putting together is going to be okay. All right. All right. So after your alphabetic index and you find your main term and you have found out what section of the tabular index, that's what that's called. Chapters like 1 through I think it's like 21 or 22 is considered your tabular index. And that's where you get into the meat and potatoes, I call it, of these codes. After you figure out from the alphabetic index where you need to go, you go there in the tabular index and verify the code. You never code off of the alphabetic index, guys. Never stop there. Always go to your tabular and verify the code, because this is where the codes really break down and get more specific. Okay. And you can see on my little graphic here, they break down into chapters, which is like 1 through 21, broken down by body systems. Okay, and inside those chapters, you have sections. And if you see this section heading here, other joint disorders. Chapter 13, diseases of the musculoskeletal system and connective tissue, M00 through M99. And something else I want to point out to y'all guys, and I know they even do a little chart in your textbook. Notice that chapter 13 is diseases of the musculoskeletal system, M, right? And your codes are what? M? Oh, okay. So, you will find that there is correlation in the alphabetic part of these codes and what organ system they go in. And when we start coding going through the chapter, we will go chapter by chapter through every body system, and y'all get practice coding all of it. We will talk more about guidelines and things like that when we do that. Excuse me. Okay, and I just completely lost my whole train of thought there. That cough just made my brain hiccup. Oh, but the chapters. We're going to go through them one by one and code each of them. Okay, so that's kind of one of the things I noticed when we went through coding last time. When we were doing the coding, you guys, some of y'all that got the answers wrong would give me codes that were not even in that chapter. So here's another little pro tip. If we're discussing a certain chapter and the code that you're coming up with is not even having to do with that organ system, that's probably not the right answer. Just saying, probably not the right answer. But y'all can see how it breaks down into categories, subcategories, and then subclassifications. Your category is going to be like your starter code, okay? M25, other joint disorder, not elsewhere classified. And you see that little red stop sign? And we will get into what all of the little stop signs and excludes and includes and all the little asterisks and all the little alpha prefixes. We'll get deeper into that. Right now, we're just talking about how it's set up and laid out, okay? But this little stop sign right here tells you that you cannot code that. You can't use just that code. You have to get more specific. So what that says is, that little stop sign says is stop. Look further down and see how this breaks down, because you can't code this. Okay. And then you'll see the subcategory, M25.5, pain and joint. Also a red stop sign. You can't just code pain and joint. It has to be something more specific. Pain in unspecified joint, pain in shoulder, pain in knee joint, pain in wherever. It's got to be more specific. And you'll see how each indentation down, you're adding another character onto that code. That code, in some cases, they want it all the way out to 7 characters. And we'll talk more about placeholders and things like that later on. But you'll see you went from 3 characters in that top code to down here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down at the bottom, once we get real specific with things, right? So whether the pain is in the right shoulder, the left shoulder, you're going to need to know that information to code this. So let's say you had a scenario or something, and they just said, they gave you the code. They just told you it was pain in shoulder, but the notes didn't specify whether it was the left shoulder or the right shoulder. What are you going to do? Somebody tell me what I need to do.
Check with the physician.
Exactly right. I need to get with the nurse or the doctor, whoever I go to get my information, and say, hey, this was left out of the notes. I need this to get it coded. I need to know which shoulder the pain was in, which shoulder we worked on. And then from there, I can attach the correct code and move on. All right. So that's the basic setup, which is really all I wanted to cover with y'all today. I think that's the end of my little slide presentation. Let me make sure. Yeah. that is the main thing I wanted to go over with y'all today, is how the book is set up. The alphabetic index is where you start, then you move to your tabular, and how those sections are laid out. Now you'll notice too, in the beginning of each chapter, there's generally a section that's like a green block, or it might be some green wording or something like that. And those are what's called the guidelines. It is always important to read the guidelines. Whenever we start going through these chapter by chapter, I'm going to put in there as one of your lab assignments, read the guidelines for said chapter, because that gives you a lot of information on what you can and can't code together, how to use certain codes, when to use certain codes, and things like that. The guidelines are very important for directing you, for giving you some direction. If you ever are looking at a code and you're like, I don't even know what to do with this, I don't know what this is telling me, look in the front of the chapter at the guidelines and see if it mentions anything about that code in there. There just may be something real oddball about that code that you have to do with it. You just never know. You really don't. And you can always, guys, double check yourself with Google. Google doesn't always get you to the most specific code, but it'll at least get you usually in the right chapter or the right section. Okay. And then you can go from there. So that's pretty much my spiel. Y'all noticed, if y'all want to get a jump on it, or I don't know if y'all noticed or not, but I did this week. I added all of the spring coding workshops are now on the coding resources page in e-learning. So you can find those there if you want to get a jump on the workshops, because remember, I will be starting those up again maybe next week. I'm not sure yet. I'll decide this weekend whether it's going to be next week or the week after, once I start digging into chapter 3 and see what they want us to do there. Oh, Erin's here. Gotta write that down. And Danica.
Hey,
How's your contest going, Erin?
I'm in second place right now.
second?
But that's just for this round. This round will be over on the 15th, and they take the top 20 out of all the groups, and then you go to the next round. I think there's like 4 or 5 rounds. I mean, it's a bunch of rounds, but
Yeah.
anyway, so far so good.
Well, awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Let's see. Juliet. Sandra, Erin, Danica. Okay, I think I got everybody. Do y'all have any questions about what you got, Trisha?
I have a question about the test.
Okay.
Is it going to do like it did last time?
And make me
You'll have-
manually grade stuff? Yeah.
Okay.
Anytime we have anytime there are short answer stuff, y'all can almost bet that they're gonna make me manually grade it. Because I mean, I don't know why, but they if it's not typed exactly the way I type it, if it's misspelled, if it's capitalized, if there's any punctuation, if it's more than the one word or 2 words that they're looking for, it kicks it out and makes me manually grade it. So yeah, so I will do my best to get that open this weekend to give y'all maximum time and retake time for it. But
I have a question.
but you're pretty much gonna have to let me know. We'll get there in a second. Let me know that I need to grade it when y'all are done.
Okay. Because I was like, oh, goodness gracious.
And y'all, please do that via text message. Don't send it over Remind, because I don't always get those alerts for some reason. But just text me directly and say, hey, Miss Brandy, finish with my test or whatever. And if it's after 5, like there were some of y'all that texted me after 5 the other day, and I wasn't able to get back in till the next morning. But y'all know I'll text you as soon as I've got it done, or I'll do something. I'll let you know some kind of way. What you
Miss
got,
Brandy, I did my test.
ma'am?
I did my test last night.
Okay. Let's see. Is that Cassandra?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I
Cassandra.
was looking at that too. I was like, oh my God, I made an F.
Yeah, if y'all, most of y'all that ended up with like C's, D's, and F's, after I went in and graded them, they were, 97, 99, 100% A's. So don't stress about that. Don't stress. if it comes out bad before I grade it. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. And I'll text you today about the other assignment I need reopened.
I was in meetings all morning, so I have not gotten a chance to look at my text messages in like the last couple of hours. But I'll take a look at them after we get off here while the video is converting and uploading. I'll take a look at them and see what's going on. Okay. Any other questions? Any questions about ICD-10, the way the book's set up, manuals, any questions about chapter review or workbook stuff? Have y'all had problems finding anything? Everything's good. I've been trying to, I don't know if y'all noticed, but whenever it's workbook, I've been trying to highlight it or make it red or something to where y'all know it's the workbook. Trying to make that a little bit easier to recognize. Any questions, comments, concerns?
I do have a question.
Which
It's about the NCCTP test. Is that all multiple choice or do we have to watch our spelling?
it is
on
all
there as
multiple
well.
choice.
Okay, good, because I was worried about my spelling.
Yeah, it's one of those, if I'm not mistaken, it's a standardized multiple choice test where it's all multiple choice.
Okay, that's a relief.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. That's what we talk about. It's kind of, we go through so much coding in the program because you have to know how to code, but the test, the certification exam is not really set up for cold coding. You're basically going to be given a list of, they're going to give you the little scenario and then give you a list of codes and you got to pick the right one. So instead of searching your alphabetic index and then searching your chapter to find the right code out off the top of your head, basically, what you're going to be doing is actually looking at A and go, okay, K, blah, 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 and look that up real fast. Is it K? Does that match? No, that does not. Let's go to B, see if B is the thing. It's not B. Let's go to C and see if C is the thing. Okay. And you're going to check all 4 of those codes and it's going to be the one that fits the best. That's how the exam is set up.
Okay.
So it's really beneficial.
The
Like,
lab that we have to do today for the practical or whatever.
I can barely hear you, Allison. What was that?
Okay. I don't know how to.
You're good. I turned my volume up. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So the lab for the chapter review practical or whatever,
Mhm.
where do we get the answer? Where do we find this stuff at? I mean, is it in this book that we
Is
got
there
to review?
Is there a
Or-
specific question? Like,
Like just this stuff.
I can't really see what you've got there.
Okay.
Which lab are you talking about?
The chapter review practical section 1 through 15.
1 through 15. That
Yes,
was in the textbook or the workbook?
Yes, ma'am.
It was in the
I-
textbook?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I guess. Complete chapter review practical section and step-by-step medical
That
coding.
one is in the chapter book, not the workbook.
Right, right.
In the chapter review, Miss B.
Let's see. Let me pop that open real quick. I want to see the chapter review ones. Some of them. A lot of them are found in the back of the book. Okay, yeah.
For that, you had to look in the tabular index.
Yeah. Okay, so
And the other books that we got, like that big book,
basically what you're asking is how to do these 15. Basically. Okay, I got you.
I didn't hear her question.
What you got?
No, I didn't hear her question.
Oh, she's basically she's new. She's never done any of the coding before. So she's just asking, where the crap do I go to get this stuff? Which is a great question.
So in the practical review, they send you to the area you're supposed to be in, then you just find them.
Right. See, like you look at questions 1 and 2, it says to use the tabular list. Answer the following questions. Is acute lymphoblastic leukemia in remission assigned C91.00? So, hey, Martinique, I got you, girl. So what you're going to do is you're gonna go to C91.00 in the tabular index of your ICD-10 manual and
Okay.
see if it, if that is the correct code for that. And let's-
And I'm sorry I'm low, but I'm at work, so.
No, you're fine. You're
Okay.
fine. You are absolutely fine. But do you get what I'm saying? Let me
Yes,
grab
ma'am.
my manual real quick. Right behind. Okay, so I don't know if y'all can see this very well. But okay, so see this first big thick section here? Is the alphabetic index. Okay, all the other chapters are the tabular. All right, so basically what you're gonna do is you're just gonna start flipping through the tabular and find C911 or whichever code it is that they're asking you for. And let me do that right quick. Now, Allison, this is great because this is what these meetings are for. This is, you got to know where to start. All right, so it was C91. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. C91.00.
Yes, ma'am.
Qualify for significant compensation from the federal government. Don't wait. Just call 800-674-2037 now. That's it.
Okay. All right. So basically, I went this far in this book. Okay. Let me see if I can get it around. Okay. All right. So once you get in there, if I can let y'all see this. I might have to turn off my camera, my background thing. Let's see. All right, just don't judge me on my house because I am sitting up in my kitchen right now. Okay. So, you're basically gonna find C91.00 and then check the description next to it and see if it matches the description that they're giving you in the book. Okay. And for this one, let's see. C91.00 is acute lymphoblastic leukemia not having achieved remission. So is that correct or no?
No.
It's not correct. Okay. So we want it in remission, right? All right. So, and this is on, just so y'all know, page 716 is where I'm at finding this code, okay? If you look right below C91.00, and usually this is how it breaks down. If, like if you're looking with remission or without remission, the top code is going to be without, and it's going to be like point whatever, like 0.1. And then right below it is going to be with remission, 0.2. Okay. So you don't have to go far when you're trying, when you get to that level of specificity, you don't have to go far. It's usually all right there. But, and literally it is right there under it. So the correct code, the one that the answer that they're looking for is C91.01. So that, oh, I hope clarifies things. But yeah, when they say to look in that tabular, guys, they're talking about chapters 1 through 21, biggest section of the book. And you just go through and start looking for those alpha characters. Look for the C. Because I don't know if y'all can really see it on here, but each section is a different color. Okay, you see how this is red? This is chapter 2. This is red. All right, once we get to the next chapter, which is bloodborne stuff, it goes green. Okay, and that's basically every time it changes color, you need a tab because it's going to change chapters. Okay, and some people will tab it with the character of those codes, like C, D, whatever. I do it by the body system of that chapter, just because that's a little bit easier for me to figure out where I need to be looking. If I am looking for something that is dealing with cardiovascular, I know I need to go straight to that chapter, right? So I will look for cardio on my tab instead of chapter whatever. So how you tab your manual is totally up to you. But when you'll have questions like that, that's the perfect time to text me. You don't know where to start? Let me help you. That's the whole point of it, right? But yeah, they'll ask you to go straight to your tabular list and verify if it's the code or not the right code. And I think 1 through 15 are all basically the same, asking you to verify, going straight to the tabular and asking you to verify. And that's just to get you used to looking through the tabular, seeing how the sections are set up, seeing how things are indented down. That's what this is for, is to that, get you used to that tabular section where you're going to be doing most of the work, the heavy lifting. All right, any other questions or anything, guys? That was perfect, Allison. Thank you. That was awesome. Anybody else? Anything? Let me go through your names one more time, make sure I got everybody. I want to say like the last week or so I missed people.
I need to talk to you after everybody leave.
Okay. Danica, Aaron, Aisha, Ashley, Cassandra, Kyra, Marcy. And I got a note to look at Cassandra's stuff and check my text. Okay. All right, ladies. Well, if y'all don't have anything for me or anything else for me, that's all I got for y'all for this week. And just I'll get everything for next week open as soon as I can, and especially the exam for Monday. I will put the PowerPoint up. I'll make sure chapter 2's PowerPoint's up today too, and make myself a note about that.
Miss Brandy, I got some good news.
What you got?
I just got hired yesterday to do billing.
Yay! Yay! That's awesome.
So I might be calling you for some advice.
Hey, if you need some help, girl, I'm here. I am
Yes, ma'am.
here. I will help you out all I can.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome. Yay! That makes me happy. That makes me so happy. Is this your
Congratulations.
legit
Thank
billing job?
Yes, ma'am. This is my first one.
That's wonderful. Congratulations. Did you let them know that you were in school and all that?
And they do on the job training. And once I graduate,
do,
my
y'all.
pay goes up.
Most of them do, y'all. Most of them are more than happy to train. Because like I said, a lot of your job functions really depend on who you work for and how their office is set up and how they want to do things. It's going to depend on a lot of
It's
your work responsibilities.
That goes to different offices and kind of like help them out in billing. But now they want to do like audits.
Ah,
So
okay.
it's like, you can help me with that. So
Cool.
I'm excited.
Very cool. That's awesome. That's a great place to start. That's a really great place to start. Congratulations. I'm super proud for you. Yay. See, guys, and that's the other thing. If y'all are starting, if y'all are to a point where y'all are feeling comfortable with the billing world and coding world and all that, start looking for that job. There's some of y'all, let's see, who we got? I know, poor Julia. Poor Julia. Y'all, this module ends on October the 12th, right? That's the last day of this module. Julia's last day is October the 12th. She's going to finish the program on the poor thing, got to take the whole stinking module. Even though she started out with like 5 days, I think it was like 5 days left to 152 when she started. She's got to take the whole stinking thing because that's just the way it timed out. But I've got two people. Julia's finishing this module. And then I've got two people. I think it is Danica, who's on here, and Miss Sasiana, who started the same day as Danica. Their last day is actually before the module ends on, I believe, October the 4th. And Precious, yours should be somewhere in there too.
Huh?
Your finish date should be coming up soon too.
Yeah, October something.
Mine is October 31st.
I think it's like October, 16 or something like that. It's somewhere in that area. Let me see.
So much stuff around me, y'all. No, darling. Precious, your
October 6th.
finish day is October the 6th. Yeah, you're done on October 6th. You won't have to take a final for this module. Sorry, Julia. And then I've got, Danica.
I started this already, right?
Danica and Sasiana, y'all are done on October 4th. October 4th.
But
So I'm losing 4 of y'all.
we started in the middle of this module, right?
Roughly.
Like I remember reading a lot of this and taking notes because that's the first notes I have.
Yep. This module for you should be basically a refresher.
Yeah,
Basically a refresher.
like I should have a lot of these assignments. That's
Mhm.
why I was looking at them like,
Well,
no.
not this week.
Not this week?
week's.
Uh-huh.
Possibly next week's. You might start to have them starting next week. So go
Okay.
back and look in your stuff. Go back and
Yeah.
look in your stuff and see if you've got them done. If we did that already, because that was, y'all, when Precious and Julia and Danica and Sassy, I call her Sassy, Sasiana, started. I had never taught a day in my life. Never taught anything a day in my life. Like I had trained people to do billing and coding on the job and stuff, but I never taught anything. And I went to school online. I finished my bachelor's degree online. So I knew a little bit about how that should work. But as far as teaching people, and I got to hand it to y'all. Y'all have made it through this program, even bearing with me during my learning process. So y'all are awesome sauce. I appreciate you guys so much. And I'm so proud of y'all. I'm so happy that y'all are about to
I
get
told
it
you the
done.
assignments were not popping up for me at first, and I was like, I just thought we didn't have anything.
That's what I was like, this is not like her.
It's like we
This
don't
is
have
something's
anything
wrong.
to
This
do.
is not like Precious. Y'all, Precious since day one, she is normally a day ahead of everything. A day ahead. Not on time. She a day ahead. Always. Always. So when like 2 or 3 days went by and Precious hadn't done nothing, I was about to start calling the police. Something wrong. Something is wrong. But we gotta figure it out. We gotta figure it out. Her stuff just wasn't popping up. So y'all, when y'all have stuff like that, double check with me instead of just, oh well, maybe we ain't got nothing. Double check. So make sure you've seen everything. Okay. All right. Well, if y'all don't have nothing else for me, I'm gonna let y'all go and have a blessed rest of your day and a blessed weekend and all that fun stuff. And I will, if I decide to start the coding workshops up next week, I'll put something on Remind letting y'all know and giving a link and all that. Okay, so don't stress about that. Like I said, it may be this week or it may be next week. It just kind of depends on how our chapters are gonna lay out. But if y'all don't have nothing else, just be blessed.
Y'all
folks.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
I
bye.
don't forget to go vote for me.
Yeah, go vote for Erin. Don't forget to go vote for Erin. She's in second place in this round right now, which is awesome. No telling how many people she's competing against. So I'm gonna keep posting her link on Remind so we can to keep that fresh in our heads and stuff. So
Thank you.
I actually, Erin, I'm so behind you on this. I bookmarked it. I got it up on my bookmark bar. So
Aw.
every day I just go hit your little thing and just go vote. And then close it out for the day and then go back the next day.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm with you, girl. So, all right, ladies, will y'all be blessed? Have a great weekend. Don't stress yourselves out. And remember, get in touch with me if y'all think you're not going to be able to get stuff done by Sunday, so I can either extend those due dates or reopen them for you next week. I have had the unfortunate experience that there have been a couple of people that have been like, hey, can you reopen last week's stuff? And I'm like, no, do you have a doctor's note? You know, what was the deal? And there was no deal. They just didn't do their stuff. So I didn't reopen it. So don't be that person. just talk to me. Just talk to me. I'm super easy to talk to. Text me anytime. All right, folks. That's it. I'm gonna shut up now. Y'all have a good one.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.